right, we are live.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show. Pansy and I were talking about like how we were going to introduce the show, and there's some different, I don't know, there's some different thoughts like, should we say our names? Like, hi, I'm Justin. This is Pansy. Welcome to the podcast. And it's like, not really. Do we? Does it really matter? Probably not that much. I mean, I don't need to say my name. You guys know, like if you haven't watched the show, I'm Justin, but do I need to say my name and introduce the show every single time? You know what show it is. How about we just say, how about we switch it off? Actually, Pansy, why don't you say welcome to the show really quick?
Welcome to the show.
See, now we're started. It's amazing. So we do have we have a guest in here tonight. And we're gonna bring him up in a minute. But I think we should talk. I honestly think we should talk about, and we don't need to talk about right this minute, but I think we should talk about your speech that you're doing and how you're kind of crafting the speech because like not a lot of people. What's the one thing people are most afraid of doing besides like drowning or
Speaking in front of
yeah,
people, being seen,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
And it's it's whatever that dream is where you're like in your underwear in front of the freaking audience, and like you're scared out of your mind. Like people have that night, they have that
I'm
night.
not even afraid of that. I'm just like, there's just so much stuff and
Yeah,
to the story and how to condense it. And like, I don't want to just talk just to talk. I would like people to at least leave with something to take away from it.
yeah.
At least one person, right? So that's the part that, you know, is the difficult part,
Well,
is
yeah.
relaying a message that could possibly inspire someone else in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah, that's
So
why we have Chat GPT. I'm just kidding.
I
Um,
don't.
I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's a challenge for sure. And it's hard to think back on you really it's difficult. You got to think back on your personal life. You got to think back about those transition periods and the things that changed your trajectory. And you got to find where's the inspiration in that for people. Why is someone going to want to listen to you, right? What is interesting about you? What is inspirational about you? Why is someone wanting to hear? Have you ever heard Pace's speech that he did with on Tony Robbins? Um, I forget what they called it. Like that
Aspire or something.
yeah, it was something like that.
No,
The
I didn't
Tony
hear it.
Robbins and Dean Graziosi's thing. So
I may have. I don't know. I mean,
I'll
I've
find the
listened to
recording. I
so
have the
many things.
recording.
I mean, I met Pace because of Tony and Dean's
Oh, nice,
Zooms.
nice,
So,
nice. Yeah,
but yeah. Do we want
I'll,
to bring our guest on and
not yet. We're
include
done
him?
talking to you. We're not done talking about your speech.
Okay.
No, we can
Well,
bring.
we can include him in the
Yes,
conversation.
actually, I do want to get his feedback on that too, actually. But so real quick before we do, I'll find the recording of it because you should watch it because listen to the way he structures how he talks about stuff, right?
Right.
The hook, the intro,
Right.
the hook, the story, beginning, middle, and end, and then the summary or like the inspirational part. Like, this whole story has been about X, right? This is what you should take from this. Sometimes he doesn't do that at all. Sometimes he just ends the story and just you can take away what you want, but that's how all stories go, pretty much.
Right.
So we'll get it figured out. Don't worry, Pansy. We'll get it figured out. All right, so I'm gonna bring up Dick Nichols is with us tonight. What's up, man?
How you
Welcome
doing?
to
Can you hear
Friends
me?
with Benefits.
Yeah. How you doing, Dick?
I'm
Tell us
amazing.
the
I'm
benefit
amazing.
of
Thanks
being
for
your
asking.
friend, Dick.
What'd you say, Pansy?
Tell us the benefits of being your friend, Dick.
Well, the benefits just rub off. So it's kind of like
Right.
you hang around the barber shop, you're gonna get a haircut,
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
right? So
I love it.
hang around me and the stuff's just gonna rub off. It is.
Well, it
So
should be that way. It's kind of a lifestyle, right? It,
100%.
so if you're living it, then yes, people are going to experience the whole thing, right?
100%. 100%. So Pansy, I'm super excited for you. Where are
Right?
you speaking and what are you going to be speaking on? I'm very curious.
Well, right now it's on Zoom and it's a competition to speak on other stages. Um, this
Oh,
one is,
Jesse's competition, is that it?
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thought about doing that, but I wanna you have to, there's certain things that you have to separate, I guess. And um there's a lot of people like you that I don't want to interfere with or compete with either. How could I compete with you, speaking to the public or
Oh,
what
stop
have you?
it.
well, so have you ever done that before, Dick? Have you ever spoken in front of people before?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what
Uh,
was your at a conference?
um yes, but then also like, so I taught and trained AT&T's people for a long time,
Oh yeah.
and I
Nice.
was on stage in front of sometimes only hundreds, but other times there could be a
Only
thousand, fifteen
hundreds.
hundred people
Yeah, I
there.
know. I love he's like only hundreds, hundreds of people.
A
That's a
thousand to
lot,
Yeah,
1,500 people. That's cool.
yeah,
That's a lot. Awesome.
yeah. So I mean, it is very intimidating. And so the one thing I can tell you is there is absolutely nothing wrong.
man. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we lost your sound.
Yeah, your
Oh,
sound went out. Your sound went out.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
So it doesn't matter if you have to wear sunglasses, or even if you want to take the brim of your hat and pull your hat down, or just close your eyes for that matter. But you have to pretend those people either are not there at all,
Mhm.
and you're just talking to the darkness in your bedroom at home.
Yeah.
Close your eyes and pretend you're somewhere totally different. And if
Yeah,
you have
I'm
to,
not
you
that
can put
nervous.
earplugs in
Yeah.
and totally tune out the sound of a crowd. Um, but what I tell people all the time is to literally just picture your crowd naked.
Yeah, that's not
And
the
if you're
part
tired,
that's bothering me.
Yeah.
So we were discussing the part that really bothers me. I don't mind speaking in front of people. Look, I've made myself a fool in front of people plenty of times, whatever. You know, shit happens. But it's the story and the message I want to get across, you
yeah,
know.
which is
So that's like I don't have an exact clear vision of that yet, you know. But taking the combination of different stories, parts of my story along the way, and trying to facilitate a 2-minute speech, you know,
Mhm.
I want to deliver. I don't want to just speak just to speak, you know. I would like someone, at least one person, to take something away from it if I'm going to spend my time speaking and take time from those people, right? So I have to respect my time and their time. They don't want to just get up there and hear me say
Well,
nonsense.
I don't so I'm curious what you think is going to be nonsense about your story, about like what you're going to try and put down. Like are you worried that like it's just not going to be interesting enough, or it's just going to be boring, or because if you really if
No,
you
not
really look at it,
necessarily.
okay.
Just seriously, though, what is the point of sharing any part of my story
Mhm,
if it doesn't have some type of lesson or, message there, right?
mhm.
I mean, I suppose some people just like to listen just to listen. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I get
yeah.
that. I do get that. And you know what? That's because you actually care about people, and
Yeah.
you care about people's time and all of that. And I get all that. But I guess what I'm trying to figure out is like are you struggling to are you really struggling to find like something that you think is going to be interesting enough for people? Is that kind of where it's stemming from?
I mean, of course, it has to be interesting to someone,
Okay.
you know.
I would guarantee you that there's probably a lot more than 2 minutes and a lot more than 10 minutes of interesting stuff that you've come through in your life that you could talk to people about and drive some inspiration out of it. Because you and I were talking like I'm similar in some ways that you talked about like I've been in survival mode my whole life, right? Almost my whole life. At least that's what it feels like, or that's what it is. And I know that feeling. There, I think now for me, it's not by my whole life, but I've been running uphill my whole life. That's for sure. Right. And, but that's also what makes us like super powerful. Right. And makes us like get through the really difficult stuff unbruised. Right. Or not, I shouldn't say unbruised, but like in a better place. And how should I put it? Like you've just got thicker skin than most people. Like, have you ever seen someone who like has had it kind of pretty easy, and then all of a sudden something happens in their life and they just cannot deal with it. They don't know how to manage their emotions, their thoughts, they can't think straight, they don't know what they're gonna do, and it's just a freaking disaster, right?
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Depends on the
It
situation,
does.
right?
Yeah.
So,
It does, but I mean, would you say like in your situation, would you say like when difficult things come up now, it's more like you're more strategic, right?
I've always somewhat been strategic, but I'm not saying I didn't have my days where I didn't lose my shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
What would you say? I mean, it's like, look, we have a kind of a framework, right, to build the story. But like when you think about your life, you think about writing down your story, coming up with something that's going to be helpful or inspirational to people. Like how do you break it out? A way I think about it is like look at your life, like really go back and kind of look at over the important transitions in your life, and let's start there, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's like how do I know especially if you don't write speeches, you don't speak a lot or come up with stuff a lot. It's like how do you do it? But there's a right way to do it, and I think Pansy we'll figure it out. Like there's plenty of stuff for you to talk about that can
I mean, I
help us.
know what I would say, Justin, but what I would say might not be the same thing that you would or you could say,
Yeah,
or the same thing that Pansy should say.
yeah,
I mean,
Oh yeah,
Pansy might
but
get
it
up there
doesn't
and
hurt
say
to
some,
share ideas, you know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. How could I get up there and, you know, if Pansy was writing a speech for me, I would hope she would write it masculinely.
yeah,
But
yeah. I
that's
get
what I mean. So it's kind of like this is kind of like a speech thing, right? You're gonna give a quick speech. Hopefully it's gonna be impactful, and change people's lives. I mean, the best thing that I could come up with on a whim, besides like my own personal story and what my message would be, is just that we all put our pants on one leg at a time.
yeah,
None of these fancy pants people are any fancier than you when you break it down like that.
yeah.
Oh
They don't
yeah,
just fly
absolutely.
out of bed head first like Superman and their clothes fly on their bodies like magic. We all brush our teeth. We all do the same things every day that make us human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And no, and that's what's great though. That's why everybody's story is different and it should be different. What you say shouldn't be the same thing that Pansy says. And for me, it shouldn't be the same thing that I say, right? That's important. It's gonna be different. It should be different. And it should be crafted around who you are, not around what you're trying to like. I would just say also don't try and embellish it, don't try and fake it up. Like it should be real, you know? You're not trying to do this to necessarily to like be something you're not or say that you're something you're not, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know that I could pull that off anyways.
Some people do that though. Some people
I
do that.
believe some people can.
Yeah.
Myself, I don't think I could pull it off, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I just not, I'm
I
just,
see that about you. Like it's
yeah.
gotta be
I'm just
honest.
honest,
Yeah. 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 But that's why you're gonna be good, really good at this because I think I get why you're thinking about it like this, but you got to be honest, and like I can tell that about you. I've always kind of known that about you, anyways. But like it's got to be from the heart. It's got to be honest, and it can't be trying to make you into something you're actually not, right? Because I think a lot of people are gonna could see through that anyways, in some cases. But we'll figure that part out. So um, that's coming up for for Pansy on Monday, and I know she's nervous, but you're gonna kill it. So don't worry about it. You're gonna kill it. It'll be good. Um, so Dick, on to you, man. I appreciate your input on that, by the
yeah,
way.
I appreciate your input too. And anything else you have to input.
So well, I'll let you go first, Pansy. You have some questions for Dick. I've got some questions because I haven't met Dick before. So
No, not particularly. I mean, I have, so why don't we start letting you ask the questions then?
okay. So Dick, are you in sub two? Did you start in sub two, or where did you start? Like, what mentorships did you start in, if any?
So holy cow. All right.
He's like, wait,
Uh,
we gotta go way back.
Gotta go way back.
well, yeah, no. So I actually I acquired my first property creatively when I was a teenager,
Oh wow.
and I'm 47 now,
Wow.
right? So um and then I kind of forgot about how that happened, what I did. I didn't really think it was repeatable. I didn't think I could replicate what I had done. I thought it was just a fluke chance flash in the pan, you know what I mean? So life goes on, and anyway, I spent my life as a contractor, home improvement contractor, a builder. I went to high school. In high school, I was doing college courses to be an architect. I took drafting, and I was going to be an architect and build. But what they told me was that you're too young to be an architect, Dick. Who's going to buy your plans when you're 19 years old and you've never built anything before?
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So it kind of gut punched me, and I was like, well, then fine, I'm gonna go build a bunch of houses, and I did. I busted out, and then I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop building houses. It's like getting a job as a waiter, waitress, or bartender.
Mhm.
You're gonna get addicted to that cash, and it's just gonna be a hard habit to stop.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. And like I say, you hang around the barbershop, you get a haircut. Well, when you're hanging out with men that are iron workers and framing carpenters and all that stuff at a young age, that's what you're going to end up being and doing. And so I did. From concrete to I'm a tree climbing arborist, a logger. I'll
Wow.
take rock from raw land to a finished product. I'll build you the house all the way up to the chimney.
I love
Um,
that.
That's
I'm a
amazing.
journeyman roofer.
You know
Yeah, and
what's
so but
funny? Oh, I was just gonna say that some of the most successful people that I've seen in this business seem to start at like contractor. There's something with contractors and building that the most successful people in this business seem to come from that vein somehow. It's not always that, obviously, but that's what I see a lot of.
well, the eye for a project comes from you have a homeowner that's trying to talk you into fixing their broken thing,
Yeah.
and it's a several $1,000 problem, and they want you to fix it for a couple $100.
Yeah.
And
And is
then
that,
that's
you
all
think
you
that's where
deal
you got,
with.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say, you think that's where you definitely, that's where you got your eye from. So like when you're looking at a property for you to buy or you and invest in, are you looking at it, you're looking at it through that contractor lens, huh?
Yes, not 100% though. So
Hmm.
yes, that happens because of that. But um, so I owned a roofing company for a number of years in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I ended up selling the company. And then I built another company and I sold that one because what I discovered was the money isn't made cracking the whip on your laborers, trying to get them to work harder. All the money is made in the negotiation of the deal up front.
Yeah.
So you either write this thing up so you know you're making $5,000 no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. Or you penny pinch, you try to get the job done on a budget, you end up losing your butt.
Yeah.
And now you're behind on your monthly bills and your insurance and your truck payments and all the stuff it takes you to be a business.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I learned that, that's when I started focusing more on the sales aspect and the closing aspect of a deal.
The negotiations. Yeah. Yeah. And do you look at it? So now, like, what role does your wife play in this, or your partner play in this?
I'm a heavy visionary, and she's my integrator.
Love it. Love it.
Nice.
So is she also your TC, transaction coordinator?
For the most part, but we're building the business out to the point where we're probably going to need to just have one or two on hand anyway that just like to work with us. And people will say, I don't know if a TC is necessary. Well, okay, at one point it wasn't, because I had a title company that I felt like was working with me so well. The title company was like my TC. They did they were there for me.
Yeah.
Then they let go a couple of the people that worked at the title office, or they retired or whatever. And now the reception I get there is different. So now it's like, okay, now I can definitely see the value in having a TC. You got to have somebody batting for you to make sure that your stuff goes smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And title companies are slow. Have you guys noticed how much time it takes them to return a call to you and answer a question for you?
Yep. A lot of times they don't even want to get on a phone call. They want you to text them, or they want you to email them. And so that's my other thing is, like, with real estate, it's one of the challenges with real estate. That's why things take so long to close. That's why, like, even the fast deals, a lot of times what's holding it up is the title work. I mean, you know. So that's interesting. So what I'd ask you about mentorships. Are you in any specific mentorships right now?
Yeah, I'm in sub two. I'm a sub two student for
Nice. And
a
how,
few years now. Anyway, I mean, I was one of the first several hundred. Anyway, I was definitely in the first 1,000
yeah, nice.
people join.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, I think I got in when there was about 2,000 people in there. So I got in just at the mid part of 2022. And I think there was probably about 2,500 people. And even then, it started to get really difficult to meet people. Like it was difficult to meet the leaders, I should say, or the people that were like really doing the business. Um,
Yeah,
so that's why we got JJ. So if you guys who are watching this, well, I always bring up JJ. Go check out JJ Zizian's networking group. But that's what we're doing here too. We're trying to build our connections, build our relationships, and you can do the same thing here.
And
Um,
help others build theirs. Yeah.
that's what it's all about. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Um, so what's your trajectory now, Dick? What are you guys looking to do now?
wow. Um,
And that's kind
yeah,
of a
that's
broad
that's a,
question.
that's a loaded $1 million question.
Okay, what aren't you right?
Um,
What aren't you looking to do now?
Yeah, no. So I mean, I love that you guys brought up JJ Zazie, and if you don't mind, I want to drop another name real quick, James
Sure.
Zeger.
Oh
Assistant
yeah, absolutely.
sync.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love James. We
So
need to
anyway,
get him on here too.
Mhm.
yeah, and I mean, he's such a busy guy. I mean, I feel like I should throw him $100 every time I need to get him on the phone for an hour,
Mhm.
just because he is that busy. And I mean, so Pansy, we laugh because we hang around these people who are, they're semi-celebrities, if not full-blown celebrities, right? And they give us their time. They give us, $1 million answers to $1,000 problems. And I feel like you and I definitely probably take it for granted because we're around these type of high caliber people so much.
I don't believe I take it any advantage. I realize
No,
how
not advantage, for granted.
For granted. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I take it for granted at all. I do understand that it's kind of an earned type of thing with, among friends. Like JJ goes back and says, right? If my friend reaches out to me, I'm more likely to help them versus a stranger, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll help strangers too, but you help your friends
Yeah,
quickly.
what does he say? He said, I want to now we almost have to quote him. It's only fair to him.
People do business with
he said
people
I'll
they
help.
know,
They,
like, and trust.
they do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you're not visible, you're invisible.
Yeah.
What else does he say?
Your network is your net
Your
worth.
network is your net worth. Yeah, that's
I
another
know
great
all of the,
stuff.
All the
but
sayings.
they're very true though.
It's
They're true.
all solid,
Uh,
very valid information.
yeah, I mean, it's quick to the point, basically. So, yeah, he's not wrong. Absolutely.
I would say so. So one of the things that I spent a lot of time doing in the beginning was like I didn't really start anything in the beginning. I was literally just like I just want to meet as many people as I can. So I just started trying to meet people and going to meetups and did that whole thing. I did that probably for my first year and just really was just soaking up the knowledge, soaking up the education and just meeting a bunch of people. And then as I was doing that, I realized that, and this is something I still need to work on, but it's like when you say you're going to call someone or you say you're going to do something not even that. It's not even about calling and that. It's like if you're going to be at a meeting, say you're going to be someplace at a certain time, like you got to do it. And like even with me, like with my work schedule being the way it is, so what I like it's not an excuse to just always have an excuse. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there, you need to be there on freaking time or early, or at the very least, communicate ahead of time. Like, hey, I don't think I'm gonna make this on time. Can we either push it back a little bit or can we reschedule? At least communicate with it beforehand because, and that was something in the beginning too that I struggled with, and I know that I burned bridges because of that, right?
Yeah.
We've all
Um,
made mistakes. I
Yeah,
had, I missed a few times that I guess I had an appointment with somebody. I didn't realize it.
yeah.
And, I wasn't intentional, you know.
Yeah.
I did try to remedy the situation as soon as I realized, but, it definitely wasn't intentional.
I don't
Um,
think a lot of times I don't think it's intentional. You know what I
I don't
mean?
think it is by anyone, really. Um, unless you're straight up acting crazy. I don't know. But usually, most of the time, if people get your message, they will try to respond, you
yeah.
know? Um, so
Sorry, my dogs were getting into something. They shouldn't be getting-
was that
no,
Yeah. So
I think
I
that's
was
great.
raised by a military man, Justin. So he basically, if you're not early, you're late.
Yeah,
that's what I
Period.
always say, but I wasn't raised by military. I'm just like that.
that is
Like
true though.
I'm usually early for most things.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I will say
Um,
that about Pansy. Pansy is
sometimes way too early.
hey, but you know what? It's better to be early than late, and you are good about that, and you help me to be good about that too, which I really appreciate. And it's, I work in cybersecurity, right? My goal is to fire myself from that, so I'm working towards that goal. I'm grateful for my job. Don't get me wrong, but because I work in that industry, I can't tell you from day to day. Like if you were to ask me what's your schedule, I could tell you, well, I'm usually free around these times, but I never know from day to day what I'm going to get pulled into and how long it's going to take. It makes it's really effing annoying. It's effing annoying for the people that are trying to work with me. And I get that. And so it makes it really
Yeah.
challenging. Yeah, it makes it challenging. It really does make it challenging. And so, but I can use that as an excuse, or I can figure out a way to make it work even with that going on. Plenty of people do. Like there's single moms that have like 3 kids that are going to college that are still figuring out how to work and learn this. You know what I mean?
Kudos to them,
Yeah.
because
But I'm just
I don't
saying,
know if I could do all that. I did try to watch my grandson in the beginning, trying to learn this stuff, and it was definitely challenging.
yeah.
So I
Well,
was
so
blessed to raise my children already, so now I can focus on this, you know.
yeah. Yeah, and that's what Pansy and I are doing together. We're building something together that is going to allow us to do the things that we want and allow me to move on from my job and all of that. So it's all about
Yeah,
it's
we're gonna
all
have
about
to
our
dig
network.
deeper into that, Justin.
Yeah, we are. We are going to have to dig
Let's dissect that. What is it gonna take to get you out of that?
10,000 a month. Not a lot.
No, that's not a lot. Hell,
Well,
I need way less than
between
that to
the
live on a month.
yeah, between the two of you, that's what, 2 deals a month, two
Yeah,
wholesale deals a month.
yeah.
If we're wholesaling.
If we're
Yeah, I
wholesaling.
mean, of course, you're going to try to buy and hold and do all the other things, but I'm just saying, wholesaling is a byproduct of that, of what you really want to do anyway, right?
Well, there's going to be those deals. There's going to be those ones that we have under contract that we decide, let's just get the wholesale dollars from this one. I think it's going to be too much work for us. Whatever, right? Sure, there'll be those deals. But we're also looking at multifamily. There's a lot of irons and a lot of different fires right now, but ultimately, as long as you don't give up and as long as you keep after it and you improve in the places that you're messing up or that you need improvement on, nothing's going to stop you, you know, besides you. So that's the way I look at it. I say this a lot too. Like, I don't think 90% of businesses fail. I think 90% of people give up. That's kind of hyperbolic, I realize, but I think there's some truth to that, honestly. So, Dick, any advice for that you would give to brand new investors that are getting into this?
Hmm. Yeah, actually, I'm glad you asked. Uh, so there was a position I had at a company one time, and I made a point to show up before the boss every day because if I did that, he'd allow me to have coffee for 15 minutes before we had to start work.
Hmm.
But if I walked to the door 5 minutes or even 1 minute after he did, he made me start working immediately. So I taught myself to make sure I showed up before him every day because then for 15 minutes he'd literally pay me to drink his coffee that he bought. And I thought it was an incredible thing. Well, what I learned from that kind of goes back to we were brushed on a moment ago. When I said if you're not early, you're late.
Yeah.
Well, just act like you do have the keys to the office or the keys to the building, and then one day you will. The man's gonna
I
start
like
giving you
that.
the keys and asking you to show up. Hey Dick, you're here before me every day. Why don't you get the coffee going?
Yeah. I like
So
that.
act like you have the keys, and one day you will.
I like that. That's really good. That's really good. So in other words, I know Jesse talks about this too. It's not get, have, then be, right? Like you
Yeah,
don't
be do have be do. Right.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. That's what we're talking about, right? You be first, right? Then you
Yeah,
get
and
yeah,
yeah, it really at that point in my life, it really was fake it until you make it. I mean, I think I had maybe 2 shirts and 4 different ties, and I would just rotate my tie combinations with my shirt so I
yeah.
could appear like I'm like I have a nice wardrobe, you know what
Hey,
I
some
mean?
people don't need a lot of stuff, you know? I
No,
mean,
no,
I
no.
personally don't have a big, huge wardrobe of things either, mostly because I don't like shopping and well, right now, don't really have the money, but not, but I never really had a huge wardrobe of clothes. I just kind of had my basic few things and was good with that for the most part.
Oh
No,
man.
and I understand that,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. This company, this job I was describing at, there was a guy that showed up with a different car every day of the week.
Wow.
He had a Monday car, he had a Tuesday car. Wednesday, he was rolling in the
I guess
Suburban.
that's one way to keep a car, or several cars, just buy them all up front and drive them on
Yeah,
separate
yeah.
days.
Or here's me switching out ties with shirts and stuff so I look different every day. And this guy's rolling in a different car every day of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So yeah, sometimes you
to
have to
each
fake
their
it
own.
till you make it.
Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. Yeah. I would say don't look at it as faking it until you make it. I would look at it as being the thing you want to be before you have it, right? Believing you have it and being that person before you have it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Do be have.
Yeah, do or be do have, right? So you're
Well,
already,
do the thing first.
yeah, yeah,
Do, and
yeah,
then you'll be the guy, and you'll
yeah,
have what you want.
yeah, yeah.
It'll come. You'll get it.
Yeah, you're right. I like that better. Do be have. That is better.
But it all starts with taking action.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
and
you
believing
can't just sit around. Things don't
can't
just
just sit
happen.
around and not do anything.
Come on, Dick.
No, I mean I've tried it. I try it every once in a while for a few days at a time, and it doesn't work.
Nothing comes of it. It's yeah. That's funny. So again, I think it's like the be you're talking about the do be have like, but again, it is about taking action, but it's also about believing in yourself and believing that you are that person. His mindset's
Yeah.
a huge part of it. There's so many mindset gurus out there, but the reality is it is about you believing in you that you can do it. Um, so on that note, I think we'll call it for tonight, but appreciate you being here, Dick. Thanks for showing up and letting us interview you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. And next time, bring some friends.
Yeah, bring some friends. Tell people. Tell people.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if someone wants to get a hold of you,
Yeah.
how can they reach you?
So I do have an Instagram account. I'm on Facebook. Um, Dick Nicholas is my handle on pretty much everything.
Okay.
Well, do you want to give a better description? And then we can, if you drop your stuff in the chat of the Zoom, we can add it to the description of this live.
Sure. I think I put my phone number on there anyway, before, but yeah, let me see if I can do that for you. Are you guys able to add this stuff and edit later?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, you
Well,
guys.
it's
I
all
appreciate
about
you having me
friends
here.
helping friends, right?
100% Pansy. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Dick.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for dropping in. All right, guys. I think we will call it there, but everybody who, every one person who's watching us right now, thank you for showing up.